All right. Welcome to episode 8 of the BROxFire podcast. My name is LJ Regine.
And I'm Will Fuller.
And gentlemen, it's time to man up, cut the bullshit, and just laugh, bro.
Bruh.
That's what we're going to do for the next hour for you guys. So let's get this party started. Will, what are we drinking today for Down the Hatch?
Well, Down the Hatch, we've got this. I've got this idea, and I've introduced it to you, and we both said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. We want to drink local, and when it comes to local, obviously we live in South Florida, so there's not a lot of local distilleries out there. But
you found that there were more than maybe you initially even thought, anyways, right?
A great deal, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot, but there's even more when it comes to Florida. So when I say local, I'm saying Florida local.
Nice.
So first of all, I don't know, have you ever been to St. Augustine?
I have not been to northern Florida, right?
Yeah, northern. Right, actually, right below Jacksonville is the best way to
Don't
describe
you feel like South Florida and the rest of Florida are just two different things?
Actually, if you've ever been to North Florida, they are. They actually are completely different.
Yeah.
And I would actually say more northern Florida people actually have more of a southern accent.
Right. So it's like much more like the deep South.
Yeah,
than down here.
it's got the South. I mean, real close to Georgia. I know there's that huge like Florida Gator, Georgia competition going on up there.
Yeah.
And so anyways,
Yeah.
St. Augustine Distillery is actually one of the bourbons that I've actually wanted to try. They're local. They're homegrown. Actually, the people that work there are actually homegrown, so they're actually from that area. They're
like, you can't work here if you're not from here.
Where are you from? And then the guy says, well, I'm from here. They're like, you got an accent. Jump on it.
I'm from here.
So that's one of the things that we're drinking is St. Augustine's Florida straight bourbon, bro.
Nice.
Straight bourbon. So one thing I want to do is I just kind of want to give the viewers and the listeners out there kind of something to think about. Like if you
Can I sip this fucking... I mean, it's just getting all fucking wet.
It's getting nice and chilled, bro.
Can I sip it yet?
Well, I just want to
talking about it?
Yeah, go ahead. But while he's sipping it, I'm going to give it a sip also. The important thing is I want to educate or provide something for the viewers or the listeners to be able to say, hey, is this good? You know, is this something that you would go and buy and kind of like where you would buy it?
This is really good.
We didn't cheers, but...
Oh, dude, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I just
Yeah.
was like, geez, he won't shut up. I want to drink. Cheers.
Yeah, it's cheers. Cheers, bro. Bottoms up. So what are you're a whiskey drinker. You like
I
whiskey?
am. I love whiskey.
Okay.
So what I notice about this immediately is that it's got a very it's like a very quick burn. So sometimes with whiskey, it like takes a minute for it to really kind of hit you, but this kind of hits you immediately. So it's very like snappy, I guess is the word that's coming to mind.
What comes to mind for me, and again, I'm trying to get into it.
Yeah.
Because I love wine, and one thing about wine is that there's so much to it, and I'm learning that there's a lot about whiskey. And feel free, like we said, we're putting this on Instagram, Facebook. If you have anything, I know there's a lot of whiskey. There are a lot of people who are passionate about it. Give us some advice. Talk to us. Let us know some local whiskey. But the one thing that I want to say is this one comes across as smooth for me. Like
It's really smooth.
It's
Yeah.
got a smooth taste. It's got some flavor to it.
Yeah.
And you know, I really enjoy it. Now, this is coming from a guy who honestly doesn't drink whiskey, and
it's been aged 3 years, so
Yeah.
This is nice. And I like the logo. The logo work. The design is really fresh.
Yeah.
It has a very very sort of old timey early 1900s feel to the
with
logo
glass,
work.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great. And
so-
they have different. What I've noticed online, they have different types. Obviously, apparently, and again, learning about whiskey is there's different ones that are aged, different flavors, different stuff involved. But this one you can find really at a lot of distillery stores that sell it. I'm trying to think of ABC.
Yeah. You said you found it at Crown, was it? Royal?
No, ABC Spirits.
What am I making up then? You said you were going somewhere the other day. I thought that was like a liquor store, and I got confused.
ABC.
Got it. So, Will, just so that the viewers out there know, if you're someone that's newer to whiskey, what is the difference on your research between a bourbon, whiskey, scotch? Can you break that down for us quickly?
Well, yeah, real quickly what I found. Now, again, I'm new to this, so I had to do some research. I found out that there's two ways to spell whiskey, and that confused the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie.
One
Whiskey
has an E and one doesn't. Yeah.
I don't know. I think the whiskey from the Scotland side, all over there, they spelled it without the E, I believe. Don't count me on that. And then the whiskey, we decided to be like, we're going to change it. We're going to add an E.
Whiskey!
Yeah, it's the key. But also, we had a conversation about this.
We did.
Bourbon is a U.S. whiskey. Scotch, which is the other popular, is a Scotland type whiskey, and it has.
And I'm not a big fan of Scotch. Are you a Scotch
I've never
fan?
tried Scotch.
Yeah, I don't know
and
if
that's
you're gonna
one
like it when we get there.
Well, the thing is there's no way we really
get there.
can because it's
not local.
It's not local. But again, I would always willing to try it. The other thing is I found out there's a lot of like rules and like the feds
And I didn't even
involved.
believe him. I was like, "What are you fucking talking about? Were there federal rules?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, bro, the law." And I'm like, "No,
that's
it's
what
not."
makes it different between not just because it's over in Scotland or if it's over here in the U.S. They actually have like laws to how they have to produce this whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy, and again, every whiskey is different, just like every wine. Wine is just a big title. Whiskey is a title, and it's like every bourbon you have can be a little bit different.
I love it.
It's really awesome. I mean, again, I am nothing of an expert. Trust me when I say that.
It'll be cool because our audience will kind of learn with us.
Yeah,
as
I'm
we're
going to learn
doing
as we
this.
go.
Yeah.
I'm obviously going to not just do whiskey. I want to try other different types of alcohol that can be from a distillery.
But my vote will always be for whiskey.
and mine is too because there's a lot, and I think it'll be interesting to try different ones. So,
I love it.
So that's part of Down the Hatch. Again, St. Augustine Distillery. It's great. We enjoy it. I would say recommend
I
buy
really
it.
like it. Yeah, absolutely.
recommend
Definitely
buying it.
check it out. Well, another thing that we're going to do every week is we're going to toast to the most bro-worthy bro of the week.
The broest of bros.
The broest of bros. So somebody out there, they can be someone that we don't know personally, or maybe we do know personally, that has gone above and beyond and been the bro of the week. So I was doing a little bit of research, and I found that Texas quarterback Sam Ehlinger was among the college athletes who started a fundraiser to help with coronavirus relief efforts. As obviously we're in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic here.
Right.
And as of Monday this week, he has raised more than $78,000 since he started his fundraiser on March 25th. So you are a bro if you are a college person, quarterback, and you've raised almost $80,000 in
I agree.
what's that, a week and a half. So this is a cheers to you.
Cheers to you, bro.
And you're the best. And thank you for helping out all those people that you're going to be helping out with that money.
Do you know what the money's actually going to go for?
Mm-hmm. So his quote was, "I am dedicated to helping families who have been impacted by the current global
This is
crisis and have created a GoFundMe to raise money to assist organizations that are doing incredible work in my community and nationally, including the Boys and Girls Club, the Central Texas Food Bank, Austin Pets Alive, and more." So all of his funds will be donated directly to the 501c3 organizations. Again, his name is Sam Ehlinger. And he's a Texas quarterback, so I'm assuming that's Texas...
Well, Texas Longhorns? Or is it
senior
Texas
season-
A&M?
Longhorns.
Longhorns.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing I've been in the military. I went to San Antonio, and I went when I was in Florida. When I was in Florida, when I was in Texas, completely different. There's it's God and football.
It's God, guns, and football.
Yeah, no, it's probably it's God. I don't even know if God takes a backseat to football over
Yeah.
there. It's really passionate. So what I have to say about this guy and why he's super bro worthy is because he's using his platform, which is college football, which is huge.
Huge.
So if you're from Florida, which I don't need to explain this to you, it's just like being a Florida Gators fan or being the Miami Hurricanes fan. And it's really it's unbelievable that a kid at that age can understand how his platform can do something.
Yeah, and influence other people.
And it's awesome.
So you would probably know, just like Will is a novice when it comes to whiskey, I have never been a sports guy, but I'm learning a lot about sports. So he led the Longhorns with a 3,633 passing yards and 32 touchdown passes.
Last season?
Is that good?
That's pretty good. Especially for Longhorns right now, they're not where they probably want to be when it comes to their status and actually their record. They definitely want to do a lot better, and they're pretty strict. But they're probably going to get there. They're one of those teams that They dip and then they rise, and they dip and they rise. But if you're a Longhorn, if you're a quarterback for the Longhorns, you're
probably going to go pro.
Yeah,
Pro?
yeah, you're definitely going to go pro.
Well, kind of keeping within the topic, Will, let's talk a little bit about Man About Town, because we're going from football to baseball. So, yeah, take it away. Let's get into that Man About Town.
Well, one of the things is about Man About Town, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a different little setup, and we're going to try it this way. Man About Town, and then we're going to do Savage.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Civilized.
That's my fault. Guys, it's our first time doing this new format. I got really excited. I meant for us to go from right into Civilized or Savage, but about baseball, not Man About Town.
Yeah, no, so, one of the things is
Fucking
that,
loser. Can't even do it right, LJ.
I know,
I should just quit. It's the whiskey.
It's the whiskey. It's so good, it makes you forget.
Totally.
So one of the things that we have this new thing called Civilized or Savage, and we are just coming up with a topic that we feel either civilized about or savage about, and I'm the savage one today.
And let the record reflect that we were very strict on, like, we have to feel opposite about this, because it's really fucking boring for us and for you guys if we feel the same way about it. So if you see any bloody noses,
there's a lot of passion that's going to be.
We're going to be passionate about this.
We do have a lot of similarities when it comes to certain things, but this one topic is I'm a diehard baseball fan. I love that sport. I can watch it from the first inning all the way to the ninth, gets into extra innings. If it's my team that came back to bring into extra innings, I'm super happy. If it's not my team that's doing it, I'm not that happy about it, but I'll still watch it to the end. And so that's something a lot of people don't do. But right now, baseball is trying to make a decision. And again, trying to make a decision. Their decision is to take all the teams over to Florida. I keep saying Florida, bro.
Phoenix,
Arizona. They want to take everyone to Phoenix, Arizona, and what they want to do is they want to start the season.
I'm like not comfortable. I'm sorry.
I know you're like moving
I'm like
around.
trying to like adjust. Sorry,
Get adjusted.
I have a big body here that it's just like I'm trying to man spread, and
I know it's your man spread is hitting my knees.
Into Will.
Fucking keep your man spread over there.
All right.
So the one thing is that these baseball players are like, oh, I'm going to be away from my families. I'm going to be, we're going to be staying at a hotel, and all these different things. So I'm going to be a little savage about this. And it's not because I'm a baseball fan. It's because the world needs something, right? Right now, it's baseball season. It's not football season. It's not basketball season. It's football season. Baseball season. And what I want to say is that these guys get paid millions of dollars to entertain the world. And they have an opportunity to, probably make some money. Yeah, there's some money to be made from MLB. I'm not going to but these baseball players have signed up to play this game that's been played for a long time. There might be an option to do it, and now they're like, I'm going to be away from...
What's the option? Could you explain? I don't think you went what's the option so the audience knows.
It will pretty much be broadcast. It will be something that will be on TV so everyone can watch it. Fans can't go to the game yet. But what it will be is where they play the Arizona Fall League.
So 30 games. Not 30 games. 30 teams.
30 teams. And they would play just like a regular schedule. They would stay in hotels. And they're thinking about doing this they're exaggerating 4 months. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think it's going to be at least 2 months. Get it started. See where we are after 2 months. But I'm a huge, like I said, I'm a huge baseball fan. You grew up wanting to play this game. And you have the opportunity to get out there and play this game. The one game that you get paid for, the game it's an entertainment game. It's meant for entertainment.
Do you know if they're currently getting paid, even though everything's shut down?
I would believe yes. And here's the other thing. They're asking a lot of really well-paid players. So even if they're not getting paid, these players don't give a shit because they got paid millions of dollars last year. So they're just and they're like, oh, I'm thinking of my family. I get that. But again, you signed up for this. So
you think that they're being inauthentic when they say, oh, my family?
Well, here's the savage part about this. And again, I know this is completely different. But there are people who need to get shipped off for different things for military, whether it's training or a war situation. Okay. And they have to leave their family to protect the country. So if they had that well, I got to be with my family, so I can't do this. It's like, what? Everyone would give that guy shit. But my point is that you have a baseball player who gets paid, who the only reason why you know his name is because that fan watches them and cheers for them. And they're choosing to be like, oh, my family right now. It's only a couple of months, and it's called, do this for your country at least. Do this so we can get back some normalcy. Like, this is something that I feel so strongly about that I think they should get their asses on the field and start playing, because that's their job. It's their job, and they have the ability to do it, and it will relieve so much of this stress of being inside, this stress about the fact that we can't have a normal life. They have the opportunity to provide this, and they're bitching and moaning because they're going to be away from their family for 2 months.
Well, okay, so I understand your point, but I'm going to make some counterpoints here.
Okay.
So,
careful. Careful now.
Are you telling me to be careful? What are you going to do?
Just be civilized, bro.
I'm going to be civilized. I'm going to be so civilized. So, okay. So let's think through this, right? Let's think through the practicality of this, all right? So first of all, you have to get 30 teams to agree to be in one geographic location.
Not 100% true. Not 100% true. You don't have to get 30 teams to agree. They have a union, and their union has to agree.
Okay, so you have to get the union to agree to this, first of all, right? Right, and then the next step would be probably to get, because of the fucking police state that we're living in right now, you probably have to get some sort of federal or state permission to do this, because essentially what you're doing is you're requiring, that's like 30 teams or whatever is like basically a small town full of people, with, if you're including everybody in the management side of things, the professionals who run the team, the trainers, all that sort of stuff, right? It's a lot of people. So there's a lot of logistics to work out. So my thing is this: if I have a team from New York City, right, where there's a high risk at exposure, right, for coronavirus, that's different than if you're going to bus in the team from Wyoming. I don't know if there's a fucking team from Wyoming.
Yeah, but see, here's my point, bro, is that everyone's going to be tested before they...
Right, so there would need to be a stringent, like if you have a fever, like they would need access to a lot of tests and testing to make sure that they're not all going to infect each other, because the last thing that you would want is your entire, league of baseball infected with the coronavirus. So I think that's why there is a lot of nervousness about how we can push this forward, because we're in a new world now where there has to be parameters and ramifications, and what about the 6-foot rule? If the government goes ahead and approves this, are they going to be like, oh well, we're going to relax that while they're on the field? So what happens if somebody wants to run a base? Can you touch them? All
but
that.
See, they're tested.
There's a lot to think about.
They're tested and they're going to be fine. I think that what we're trying to do is we're just trying to keep us from being normal, getting normalcy back in our lives, and that's the problem with me.
You think someone's trying to keep us? You think that? Wait, what do you mean they're trying to keep us from being
I'm just
normal?
saying, people, if that's what you're saying, if that's what you're saying, oh, but we can't touch the player, they're all going to get tested. They're no longer going to be in contact with basically the outside. Well, once they get this thing put together, it's just them. It's like them in a bubble, basically. And that's that. They play baseball
right, so they don't have to be tested. So what I'm saying is that there would need to be parameters to ensure their health and their safety. And I think that's what everyone's thinking about. How would we do this large scale? Because think about this. If they do this, then and they figure out the right way to do it, then maybe basketball can start up, maybe football can start up. They would have to they're kind of being the groundbreaker of how we move forward in a coronavirus world.
But these players are saying they don't want to take that risk. And see, for me, I think that they should take that risk, because that's their job.
So you want them to risk their lives?
There are people right now that
you want them to risk their lives.
Listen, let me put this out here before you actually ask that question.
Okay.
There are people at Publix right now. There are people at banks. There are people doing their job which are considered what? Essential. So these jobs, are out there. They're risking their lives. Doctors, police officers, they're out there every single day. Now, the one thing is that I guarantee you, there are a lot of people out there, after a long day of working and being essential, they would love to kick back and watch a baseball game. They would love to just forget about everything that's going on out there instead of putting on the TV and seeing all this negativity. So if they could do that, and they have the opportunity to do that, just like baseball did for 9/11, that was huge for baseball. It was almost like, and I'm not saying we forgot about 9/11, but it took it away. It took away that pain, that negativity. You were able to watch this sport and just be forget about something for a little bit. And if they can provide that, shame on them for not wanting to do it. Shame on them for not being like, hey, you know what? We can provide something. And again, they're saying they're thinking of their families. I get it. At the same time, I don't get it because you're getting paid to do this. This is your job. It's like an actor who doesn't want to act. You know,
Right.
I don't want to play this character because blah, 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 blah. Why? Because, well, you know, I'm going to be away from my family. I can't be shooting over in England while my family's in California for a couple of months. All right, you're fired. Like,
Yeah, I totally see your point, Will, and I agree in a lot of ways with what you're saying, but this opens up so many other questions that would need to be answered in order for this to go on. Well, Will, you obviously feel very, very passionate about this.
I would like to say I'm savage. And you know what the funny thing
You
is?
are savage.
I have a Marlins hat here, but I'm also a Yankees fan. And I always think about Aaron Boone and when he was yelling at the ump, and he's like, you know, my players are savages out here. Fucking savages. And he was yelling
that's
at
the
the
clip
ump.
that you wanted me to find.
Yeah. And so
We'll
when I
find it.
see that and passionate, I'm a savage out here. I'm a savage.
You are a savage. I want to be a savage for a minute. I want to switch gears here. Thank you for that, Civilized or Savage. So if you guys have something that you want us to talk about, please send us an email at BROxFirePodcast@gmail.com, and we'll consider it if we both feel differently
Or we'll
about
go
it.
savage on you.
We'll go fucking savage on you for what a dumb fucking topic you sent us. But let's talk about GoPro today. Obviously, the theme today has been like people making these tough fucking choices, right? Like, and using their platforms, and you know, there's a lot of questions that are being asked and putting people into sort of new domains. So today, I kind of wanted to talk about GoPro in the sense of now what, right? So like,
Dot.
right? Because it's kind of what you were talking about. It's like, okay, now what with baseball? Okay, I'm a college athlete. Now what? Like, what can I do? So I want to kind of piggyback off of what we talked about last week, which was, all right, what do you do, right? Recognize you don't know anything,
Right.
Because no one fucking knows anything, and still no one knows shit. And then evolve. And now what, right? So for me personally, as Will knows, and I've explained to you guys, I am a in-person coaching service, and overnight had to become a remote media company. So remote coaching media company. So that has a lot of challenges that come along with it. So you can't, once you've made that initial pivot, you now have to continue to iterate. All right. So what does that mean? That means, okay, it's almost like a situation in your life. I don't know, Will, if this has ever happened to you, and maybe you can tell me a time when this has happened to you. Have you ever made a decision to do something, and then once you made that decision, there were like 5 other like doors that popped up, being like, okay, now you've made this decision. Now you have to make this, and this decision, right? I don't know if there's something you can speak to that maybe that's happened in your life.
Yeah, no, I mean, actually, that happens a lot with any real decision that you make. When you try to do something, there's just different things that you want to do. At my job, I remember that there was an opportunity to do something, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll take that opportunity, and I took that step, and then all of a sudden, it's like, now you have to do this, and then this, and you have to have training in this and that. I'm just like, fuck my life. And you just had to like take a deep breath in, and part of it when you're going through it, then you go to that part of the training, and then like, oh, now that you clicked on training, there's 5 more things you have to do, and you're just like, okay.
So it's like the decision that you make like is literally the jumping off point.
Right.
Now you've started the journey, right? So
Literally.
So the first thing that I would do, and I'm always a big fan of go big or go home. I am one of probably thousands of micro gyms that are dealing with the same thing. So what I did initially is I put my product, I started doing daily video classes, had no idea what I was doing. I've never really produced content in this kind of way before. So I just was recording, right? First ones were really shitty. I didn't know what I was doing with sound. I didn't know what I was doing with mixing. Whatever. I was just like, let me get content out there for my members. The second thing that I did was, okay, let me do a Zoom class component, meaning let's do this where I can actually interact and my coaches can interact with the members.
Right, keep that feel,
and keep that and that same feel. And then it was like, okay, let's think about this. What here is mimicking what people initially were paying for? So now that I've massaged my service and been like, okay, I was an in-person coaching experience, which is based on community, feedback, feelings, how are people doing? I mean, if you think about it, dude, when people pay for personal training, what they're really doing is paying for you to be their therapist. They literally just want to sit there. Well, maybe you not have this experience because you're not a personal trainer, but like,
Yeah, no, I'm
that's
not.
literally what people want, dude. When you're training one-on-one with people, it's like they don't care about the workout. They literally just want to talk to you about their life.
Yeah, they like lay down. You're like, what do you do? When they get down to do the sit-ups, they just lay down. They're like, oh, this is where I talk to you about my problems. You're like, no, sit up.
No, this is where you actually work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to think, okay, how can I create this experience? So we came up with a challenge, a team-based challenge that I basically divided the gym into 4 teams. Each coach is in charge of a team. And the goal is to increase community in a smaller way that's manageable so that people can start connecting with each other and find that motivation again that they're missing. Because I know a lot of people paid because they knew they had somewhere to go and they were going to be around people who were motivated.
Right.
Now that we're in this world where it's like everyone's remote, like how do you get each other to motivate, right? So now that we've broken down into these smaller groups, that was something that I think was outside of my comfort zone of, all right, this is how I'm used to doing things. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board and think about how I can try a new spin on what my product is.
And how do you feel? How do you feel right now, though? I mean, honestly, deep down inside,
Yeah.
you're making these changes. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see the results right away. That's one thing about owning a business I've noticed is you're going to have to do something. It's even like this podcast, man. We're doing something different. We're going to have to wait to see how it looks and feels. But how do you feel about what you're doing?
You know what it is I've given up control. And I think this is one of the biggest things is like, I only have X amount of members, right? But the fact that I've given my coaches some trust and I'm like, I'm gonna trust you to handle this. It's me giving up control, which is scary for a lot of
for you especially.
100%. Well, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur and I have a certain way that I want things done.
Your name, it's your brand. Yeah.
So what I did was I had, instead of doing like draft style, I was like, I asked my coaches, who do you feel like you have the most personal connection with? And make your teams based off of that because the members are already going to have that personal line to you.
Right.
And the cool thing is that my coaches have been sending me text messages of screenshots of the chats, and people are super engaged and super involved in a way that I couldn't get them to be on Facebook or WhatsApp or anything that was just a big group.
Right.
So I think making it smaller brings in that personalization element.
Yeah, smart, and it's fine. And you're always thinking outside the box, which is huge.
Exactly.
Which is huge on that part.
So now what's step 2, right? Step 2, get feedback early and get feedback often. So this is my 3rd survey that I've sent out in the past 3 weeks that we've been closed. I sent out another one today. When you're changing your business, and I know if you're like me or maybe you're in another industry that you're trying new things with your clients, you have to find out how is this resonating with people because you may be missing something and not aware of it because you're not the one experiencing it. You're the one with the ideas. And don't take it personally if you think you have a fantastic fucking idea and maybe the execution kind of sucks. People will let you know. And I think the smartest way to do that is to only do 3 questions or pitch it as this is a 30-second survey. It's not going to take you a long time. I just, 1, 2, 3, boom, get some quick information in real time. And don't be afraid of that information. Just get the information.
They say feedback is a gift. Sometimes it's a bitch. And I think sometimes people provide feedback and it's not worth the time. But there's a lot of times when it's people who are paying, people who are your clients, people that matter, if you start to notice that, okay, I have such and such, let's say 10 members, and 7 of them kind of feel this way, that might be something you should take notice.
Totally.
If you have 10 members and only 1 writes something, don't change the world because that one person,
member.
Because that one person might just be doing that because they're having a bad day.
Exactly.
So, or their life sucks at home, or they just ate potato chips and they're unhappy. So don't worry too much about that. But I think that what is important, what you're saying here, is that you can relate this to any business model.
Absolutely.
And that is what's important because there's a lot of business people out there who are listening to this and they want to be able to understand, how can I improve? So I know people who are photographers. Think about it right now. Photography, you can't be close to anybody right now. Weddings are being canceled. What is recommendations? But you're telling them to think outside the box, come up with different ideas.
And don't be afraid to try them, even if they end up being a shitty idea.
Yeah,
like
laugh at it.
Like
That's
don't
what
be
we said in the
afraid to
beginning.
try. So beyond that, get feedback early, get feedback often. The last thing is if it's not working, it's okay to try something else.
So that's your 3rd thing. Okay.
So The next thing is, and you're not aware of this yet, is next week we're going to be rolling out an opportunity for personal coaching. So I put this out there today, and I've already gotten a huge response from my members like, yes. So I'm going to do 15-minute, and Jordan, my other coach, is going to do 15-minute Zoom calls with clients individually and give them 15 minutes to talk to me about their workout, what's going on, personal goals that they have. And that gives me an opportunity to create, write, and give them a little bit something that's a little bit more personalized. The second thing there is we're going to take our regular classes. We have 3 different class styles and try to recreate those classes with a better experience for someone doing it remotely. So we're basically taking everything that we have and being like, okay, now in this new world, how does this fit into what the customer wants, what they need, and what we can give them? So long story short, you have to get super fucking creative. It doesn't matter if it's a shitty idea. Try it. If you feel good about it, give it a shot.
Can I ask a question? So
Yeah.
say I'm a business owner, right? Say I'm a business owner.
Absolutely.
And you're saying try something, and if it doesn't work, no big deal. When do you stop? When do you say we're doing an idea and you're in the, I don't know if you're in the middle of it or whatever. When do I say, okay, this is not working? Because some things are not going to show right away.
Right. Honestly, I think as soon as you, the way that I am, and this is just going off of my experience, as soon as I get the feeling like this is not connecting with people, then I'm like, okay, I got to change. I got to change
So
something.
when you start to get that feeling within yourself, okay,
Yes.
great. Because
Yeah.
you can't wait for your people.
You can't wait for them because sometimes, especially in my business, which is a service business, people are your members partially because they like you and they want to support you, and they may not necessarily be the most honest with you, but you can be honest with yourself sometimes and say, and I knew it. I was like, my videos are kind of shitty. What can I do to make them better? And I was like, I have to edit them better. I have to make them more professional looking. I have to up my game. So this is just a huge opportunity. So Go Pro Bro today is about what next. Now what? Fucking up your game. Try new stuff, get feedback, and if it's not working, switch gears and try something else.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
That was, I love how you're passionate about this, bro. And again, if you're a business owner and you have questions, again, don't look at what he does.
Right, because I'm talking my specific business, right? I'm just trying to paint a picture for you of my business.
But sometimes if you have questions or you need some advice, reach out to him because it might also help him to think outside the box, helping you. Like I said, there could be a photographer out there, or there could be somebody doing digital marketing or something like that they need to do differently, and you just need some ideas. He's got a lot of ideas, but also the thing is you might help each other out.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest part about this.
We all need to support each other right now.
We do need to support each other.
Yeah.
And one of the best segues into supporting each other, bro, is my next topic.
Yes.
So
because you've been reached out for advice, and we can provide that advice.
I was going to talk about something else, but then somebody texted me a question because, as you know, we are on.
As you know,
we are in quarantine. We cannot go out on dates. It's really frowned upon. And so I had a bro text me, and he's usually that guy that goes to clubs to meet women, right?
Yeah.
And I've always tried to help him out a little bit, but he had a text message to me. What do you think about dating sites, and what should I do for my picture?
Okay.
And so when I got that text message, I instantly laughed because I was like, he has no idea that he just bumped himself to the top of the line for this podcast. I think he didn't email me because he thought, oh, they're only emails. Texts, conversations, everything is game when it comes to this. And the one thing
Watch out.
Or no, don't watch out. Just keep coming to me. So the one thing is that I want to talk a little bit about the dating apps out there.
Okay.
Do you know some of them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's list them.
Tinder.
Bumble? Is Bumble a dating, or is that just a...
Nope, it's a dating app.
Okay.
Yep.
Grindr. I know there's a Grindr for
Yep.
this.
Yeah.
People out there.
There's Hinge.
Hinge.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What was what's another one? There was one. So Tinder swipe left, swipe right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're all kind of like that, though. You swipe now. Everything's kind of swipey.
Oh, you swipe them out.
There's also one that is, it's the blue one. What's it called? Not Match.com. I can't think of another name of it, but yeah, they all kind of have their own profile of like what their sort of market is.
Okay. So my thing there's a little few things that I kind of want to talk about when it comes up to with these dating sites. First of all, let's talk about the picture.
Okay.
So I went on to a few of these sites just to see what these guys are doing.
And what did your wife say?
I'm looking at the men, bro.
Yeah, what did your wife
My
say?
wife, no, I'm doing research. So I'm looking at these pictures just to see what some of these guys are coming up with.
Yeah.
And I even remember I was at a bar with a couple of girls that were looking at a site, but this site we didn't list it. It was something about like, it talked about like how much money they made. Like it was weird. It was like you could get like, okay, I want a guy that makes from 100,000 to 200,000.
Okay, so there's a website called Seeking, which is...
This was on a phone though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they were doing the swipe left.
Which is like a sugar daddy, sugar baby situation too.
Yeah, no, this wasn't it. But
okay.
So anyway, so I remember watching them also, and they were looking at these pictures of this guy, and they're like, look at this guy. And a lot of the times you would see like this guy on a boat. Let's use that as an example. Is that your fucking boat? If the guy's like, no, then don't take a picture on this boat. My number one advice that I try to say to people is try to make your picture who you are. Like, try to find your bro and have them take a picture of you dressed nice. Maybe and I love the ones that they just do the headshot. Are you a heavy bro? Are you not confident in the way you look? Because I'm going to tell you right now, bro, is that you're going to meet this person because they're going to like your personality. And then they're going to want to see the reality side of you. And they're going to see you walk in and they're going to go, what the fuck? Because they're going to see you that way. And they're going to be, it's kind of like you're lying to them right up front. So be honest. Show a picture of yourself. Again, there's a lot of pictures where the guys will show off their abs, their muscles. Okay, great. But, is that a message you want to send out there? I told my buddy that. Like, you with your shirt off at a beach, that's great, but is that the person you want to attract?
Well, I guess the question is, what is the goal? If the goal is to hook up, if the goal is to get laid, if the goal is to have a date, if the goal is to find a long-term relationship, I think the picture choice will depend on what your ultimate goal is. And what's your bro's goal right now?
To get a girlfriend.
To find a girlfriend. Okay.
To have a girlfriend, to hold hands, and
to hold hands, that's what he wants to do?
No. He's probably like, fuck you, man. No.
Okay, so if he wants to find a girlfriend, then I would probably de-emphasize the sexier, more
Well, no, you can be
photos.
sexier.
Well,
it just doesn't, what I'm saying is that
you don't need your shirtless.
Right, because you're going to attract different women. They're going to want, and then also when they talk about the salary of those apps.
I think that's so stupid,
I think that's low, but I saw the girls being like, oh, he makes 200,000. Yep, I like him. So here's the thing. And then I was like, how do you know he's not lying? Oh, they confirm this. And I'm like, okay, fine. They do their homework. These apps do their homework. But here's the other thing. What if you're in this relationship and you're making this money and then all of a sudden you lose your job. You have to take a pay cut. Does that
You're furloughed.
You're furloughed. Does that mean your relationship gets furloughed? I mean,
right.
I don't know. Like,
we're going to pause dating until you're making your money again.
Yeah, we'll see. Once you start making it, and if you make it, I'll be back. But
okay.
I honestly believe that if you want to be, that type of bro that wants that relationship, the picture is, I think, very important. Also, don't lie in your profile.
Yeah, that was going to be my thought was like, okay, let's talk about what the information, the content of your profile is.
If you're a guy that likes to watch sports, if you're the type of guy that likes to go out to the bars, if you like free time once in a while, put that shit down. Now, the thing is like, oh, then I won't find a girl. Well, then guess what? That means the girl is not interested in you. So
you're just basically, Will's point is that he wants you to be authentically who you are and not pretend that you're somebody else that you're not.
Right. And I think that's going to help you more. And if you hate what you're putting down, then change who you are. If you're like, well, I like Star Wars and I collect stuff and and then obviously I don't know. I eat with my mouth open and I don't care what I look like. I don't think that anyone
would put that though, Will.
But if that's who they are, then they would have to, because that's what I'm telling them to do. But my point is, then change who you are. Be a little bit different where, that you want to be the best of who you are. but also don't lie, because I think that's what screws a lot of relationships when it comes to these apps.
Yeah, so Will has like a much more of a present yourself as you are, and what you want will be attracted to that.
Yeah, don't be fake. If you're being fake, then it's really not gonna. Because I can tell you, there are so many times, I guarantee, where women were like, "Oh, he's cute," and then they see him at the date, and they're like, "Wow, you didn't fit in the picture." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Even if we soundproof this building.
Yes. We're on US 1, so
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that was even if we soundproofed, we
Yeah.
could have been in a lead vault, and I still think you guys would have heard that.
Oh man. Well, Will, here's what I'll say about this. I think that the way that I would look at it, and this is me because I'm devious and maybe fucked up, I would cray. I mean, I would create your profile to attract what you want by using words and images that you think would draw the other person in. Because honestly, what I see dating apps as is an ability to tell a story. And I understand your approach, which is just be who you are, present who you are. I would approach it a little bit more like, what's the story you're trying to tell? And I guess that's just me being an entrepreneur, creative, like whatever. Like, it's all about the story. So I don't know. And I haven't had the opportunity to do this in a while, so I don't know what story I would tell. But I think there's a narrative about your life that you would want to put out there.
But is it true?
Well, it is. But I mean, I think you want to like tell it in a way that somebody understands, like where you're at and what you're looking for.
I mean, right? You're just trying to attract the person to swipe left or right.
Right. I know it's a tough choice. And
so nobody wants to read an essay, bro.
I agree with you. So actually, so maybe you don't even put anything in your profile. Maybe you just have your image, and if they're interested,
and that's
based on
it.
your
And
image,
just have your bro. If you have a bro, have them take a picture of you, a couple of pictures with the phone,
or have your bro's wife take a picture of you.
Yeah,
because he may not know what he's doing.
It doesn't even matter. Just take the picture of you, just like a selfie or whatever.
Can I tell you that there's one person that I have taken multiple dating website profile photos for? Can I tell you who this person is?
Go ahead.
Just can you guess who this person would be
Brody?
in my life? Nope. My mom has enlisted me twice to take a photo of her for her dating.
Yeah, but I'm not giving women advice. No, because you know what? Women will be completely different when it comes to their pictures.
She had oh my God, the pictures that she was choosing, I was like, Mom, I know that you're like in your 60s.
About your mom right now.
Yeah, I know. But what I had her do was be natural. Like, I ended up taking pictures of her. So this kind of goes with your point, at a dinner party while she was talking to someone else, where she's natural and she's having a conversation. So this actually pairs well with your point, which is have your bro take a natural photo of you.
Yeah. And just get it.
Don't stage
be real. And that's the thing. And I that's what I told my buddy.
So you don't want this, you don't want you lifting weights, because that's what I would put in mine. I'd be like my deadlift pose.
Yeah, I mean, but again, that's great, but sometimes in relationships, sometimes you forget.
They don't care how much you deadlift. Yeah, they do.
You'll no. What I'm saying is, yeah, they care. But my point is that you will get to a certain point where they don't, you're going to stop working out. So that's not you anymore. My point is that if you just find a picture that's you and put it out there. A nice picture, like you're going out for a dinner, so they can at least understand the person that they're with. That's my recommendation.
Love it.
And I think that, when he asked that question, I thought this is huge opportunity. I mean, I had somebody put a Thundercat picture. You remember Thundercats?
Well, that sounds like a big fucking nerd who hasn't been laid a day in his life.
Exactly. And my point is that, why are you putting that, bro?
Yeah.
Like, why are you, and you know what I mean? It's like, those are the things that, confuse me. So I feel like if I could give a little bit of advice right now is stop being the nerd. Like, I'm a nerd. I like Batman and I like all this stuff. I love DC stuff.
No one cares. She doesn't care that you like Batman.
No, and you know what? That's a great opportunity.
She wants to know that you have a good job, a head on your shoulders. You'll protect her in a fight or a coronavirus disaster.
Or you'll get her away from the fight. You'll be able to, what to do to run away if you're not the fighting type.
And you'll fuck her really good.
Yeah.
That's what she wants to understand.
Yeah, and
that's
those things are you being on a boat that's not yours. She's going to be promise you. She's going to be like, so when are we going to go on that boat?
You're going to be like, never.
And she's going to be like, deuces, you lie.
Bye.
So be who you are And,
Well, thank you, Will. That was
problem.
great. Good advice. If you guys have any questions for us, we'd love for you to reach out.
And we will talk about them here.
We will discuss them to BROxFirePodcast@gmail.com. All right. So it's about that time. We're closing down shop here.
Closing shop.
We have another new segment we're throwing at you today. It's called Bro, Really? Or Really? Bro?
Really?
So whatever you think, I'm going to read a news story, and this is just a random news story that I found where it might make you go, really, bro?
I haven't heard this. So.
And Will hasn't heard this. So I'm going to pitch this as Oregon man is coming for Florida man's title.
Okay.
An Oregon man faces criminal charges after police say he ignited and tossed a large firework during a parking lot spat and accidentally set 4 moving trucks on fire, as well as someone that was secretly siphoning gas from one of them.
What the fuck?
Okay, so the wild blaze erupted early Sunday morning where this person was outside a U-Haul center at about 5:45 a.m. and he got into a verbal altercation with a woman in her 30s. During the exchange of words, this dude lit a mortar-style firework from inside his car and he threw it at the woman
Well, who the hell has these in their car?
Ran for cover. So the subsequent blast sent sparks flying through the U-Haul parking lot. Some of the burning embers landed near a bank of moving trucks where, unbeknownst to anybody, a man had been siphoning gas. So 4 moving trucks burst into flame at that point, and so did the unsuspecting gas thief, who was spotted fleeing the scene with his pants and sleeves on fire. And it says the police tracked down this guy and booked him, but that the suspected gas siphoner remains at large.
Check the hospitals. His fucking balls are on fire. Dude, what? Really?
Really?
Dude, I could see myself outside of this watching, first of all, him throwing a... Who has this in their car?
Gets into a fight with a woman, throws a firework at her, and then lights 4 trucks on fire, including a dude who's trying to steal gas from the
And I could just see the girl being like, really, bro? Really? What the...
Maybe this dude needs to be the bro of the week.
Yeah.
Or maybe the siphoner.
The fact that they haven't caught him. He was a ball of flame running. Balls on fire.
It's like the suspected gas siphoner remains at large.
He's at large.
Watch out for your gas.
If you're that guy, don't turn yourself in. I didn't even... Wow.
That was good, right? That was a good... Really, bro?
that is karma in its best. I'm gonna siphon this gas, and then you catch on fire.
It gets it on fire from you all.
Could you imagine trying to explain that to your bros when you get in? Dude, what happened? I don't want to fucking talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Like, okay, man, you're on fire. Like, I just want to know. Well, that was awesome. That's gonna be hard to top.
I know. Well,
Well,
I think challenge accepted. I think
I don't even know how you found that. Well, here's the question that I have. Like, challenging the Florida man.
Well, because like, you know how there's always like the Florida man stories that are like Florida man does some crazy shit. I'm like, Oregon man
Oregon man
may have topped Florida.
He gets the belt.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Yeah.
Like he's a champion. Yeah. So, well, now it's time for us to say, goodbye.
Now it's time to say
We're not
goodbye.
going to sing. I know. When you put that down, I was like, this sounds like an ending of a kid's show.
MIC.
No, we're not.
See you real soon.
We're not going to. So one thing I do ask is that you don't forget to subscribe. I'm also asking that you like us on Facebook.
Yes.
And most importantly, don't forget and remember to man up.
Man up.
Cut the bullshit.
Cut the bullshit.
And just laugh, bro. Just laugh and run like your pants are on fire.
Which they probably are if you're Oregon guy.
Awesome.
Awesome, dude. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.